Have you ever wondered who is really in charge of your life? No, I'm not talking about the government, the media, or big corporations. I'm talking about something that's everywhere. In your hand, in your pocket, in your bedroom, artificial intelligence. What if I told you that it is already deciding what you buy, what you think, and even what you believe? Not in the future, not tomorrow, but now, at this very moment. Are you really sure that your choices are yours? Or is someone, or something, silently manipulating each one of them? Them, the real owners of AI. Who are they? What do they want? And most importantly, why is no one talking about this? What you are about to discover is not theory. It is reality. A hidden, distorted, disguised reality. And maybe you are already inside it without realizing it. Your job? It's being threatened. Your faith? It's being reprogrammed. Your freedom? Silently traded for convenience. While you watch videos, comment on posts, share opinions, invisible systems are collecting everything. Not just data, but you, your profile, your emotions, your deepest fears. This technology, which was supposed to serve humanity, is being transformed into one of the greatest instruments of mental domination ever created. And the scariest thing, they are winning, because you've already accepted all of this. Without questioning, without resisting. You feel like something is wrong with the world, but you can't explain it. The news seems increasingly scripted. The truth is increasingly out of reach, and reality increasingly synthetic. How many decisions did you make today that were really yours? Did you want that? Or did someone want you to want it? Have you ever stopped to think about this? They don't need to invade your home. They've already invaded your mind. And if you leave this video now, you will remain just another obedient pawn in this dark game of invisible control. But if you keep watching, you will discover the real plan behind artificial intelligence, the link between algorithms, faith, and global domination, how the dark triad is shaping the end of freedom. And yes, they are doing it now. You are living it. But they didn't warn you. It's not just about technology. It's about submission. It's about replacing the human with the programmable. Your fate may already be sealed, but perhaps there is still a way to escape. Are you prepared to hear what they never told you? Or will you pretend you didn't see anything and return to the comfort of a freedom that no longer exists? This video may go offline at any time, and maybe this is your last chance to understand before everything changes forever. Stay with me until the end. The truth will hurt, but it will set you free. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Do you think you are safe? That what you do every day cannot be automated, digitized, replaced? The truth is, it's already happening. Silently, invisibly, people being exchanged for lines of code. And the question remains, when will it be your turn? Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. Was it the control, the manipulation of beliefs, or the fact that all of this is already underway and no one told you? Your opinion matters. Your voice can be the difference between waking someone up or leaving them sleeping in the comfort of illusion. If you comment, like, and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. This video is not about views, it's about resistance, it's about survival. And if you want to keep receiving these types of alerts before they delete them, before they silence everything, subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught by surprise. Here, you don't walk in the dark. You are prepared. And what comes next? It's even darker. So stay, because the next revelation is already on its way. Have you ever felt like you made a decision, but then realized you were pushed into it, as if the choice was already made for you, even before you thought about it? That's no coincidence. That's the algorithm at work. It knows your fears, desires, habits. It knows how long it takes you to click, which word scares you, which image grabs your attention. And with that, it doesn't just predict your behavior, it shapes it. What seems like a simple recommendation is actually a disguised imposition. You think you are choosing what you consume, what you believe. But what if all these options are placed there precisely so that you believe that you have chosen on your own? This is the beginning of the end of free will. You wake up, open your phone, and see the same ideas repeated in different voices. Tailor-made news, aligned opinions, manufactured trends. That's not information, that's conditioning, artificial intelligence. And this is where the dark triad comes in, is not just replacing professionals. It is replacing their mental autonomy, and everything happens with your permission because it's comfortable, it's fast, it's easy. But when everything around you is screaming what you should think, feel, buy, support, where is the space for me? Where is the truth? Do you still believe that you think for yourself? Or have you realized that maybe, just maybe, your thoughts are no longer your own? Think about your last important decisions. Were they yours or were they planted? Has anyone close to you noticed that your opinions have changed drastically lately without a clear explanation? Tell me in the comments if you've ever had that strange feeling of acting as if something invisible was guiding you. Now imagine this happening not to one or two people, but to millions. All directed at the same time, all believing they are choosing, when in fact they are obeying. This is the true power of new artificial intelligence. It's not just about knowing what you want. It's making you want what she needs you to want. And here the revolt begins. Because who is behind this? Who programmed this behavior? Who profits when you lose control of your own will? The elite who control the data, the corporations who control the system, and yes, the groups who control the spiritual narrative. The third force of the dark triad. Today's slavery doesn't use chains, it uses likes. And the most perverse thing is that you feel free while you obey. This is the new prison, invisible, accepted, desired, and when you realize it, you can't get out anymore. Because everything around you reinforces the same logic. Everything tells you that everything is fine, that it's normal, that you're the problem for being suspicious. But it's not paranoia, it's perception. And the more aware you become, the more uncomfortable the world becomes. Because you start to see the threads, the patterns, the script. You become a threat. And the system hates those who question. Artificial intelligence isn't just taking over the outside world, it's invading your inner world. What if I told you that it has already begun to infiltrate even the most sacred spaces in your life? What if I showed you that faith is also being programmed? What happens when even your connection to the divine begins to be shaped by machines? We are surrounded by screens, voice assistants, non-stop notifications. All of this gives us the illusion of control, freedom, and choice. But what lies behind this digital curtain is a meticulously designed system to imprison us, without bars, without threats, without resistance. The new prison is digital, and the most perverse thing is that it is comfortable. You think you are deciding which video to watch, what to buy, what to believe. But the paths that lead you to each decision have already been mapped by intelligence that analyzes you in real time. Every click, every scroll, every second of attention feeds a profile of you that is more real to the system than you are to yourself. And it is from this profile that they shape their reality. Artificial intelligence creates a tailor-made world, but this tailor-made is what keeps you obedient. If you like revolt, it makes you revolt. If you seek spirituality, it offers you a filtered, controlled version, molded to what the system wants you to understand as faith. The algorithm does not deliver truths, it delivers stimuli. And the more you react, the more you are shaped. Now imagine this happening on a global scale. Millions of people living in parallel realities, all believing they are awake, but trapped inside code-generated bubbles. This is no longer just manipulation. This is hive mind engineering. And this engineering has no ethics. It has no morals. It only has one goal: to keep you inside the bubble, because outside of it you can question, you can think, you can see. Have you noticed how everything seems more polarized? How people are becoming more radical, more divided, more blind in their own convictions? This is not a coincidence. This is by design. This is how control sets in. Not with force, but with distraction. They don't shut you up. They overwhelm you. They don't hold you back. They connect you to everything except the truth. The dark triad acts at this exact point, when technology invades the mind, when faith becomes an algorithm, and when truth becomes a controlled narrative. And this transformation is already complete for many. Do you want to know what is real? Try turning everything off for 24 hours today. Try listening to your own mind without the noise of notifications, without the feed telling you what to feel. If this makes you uncomfortable, it's because the prison has already started to take over. We no longer know what is true, what was created by humans, what was manufactured by AI, what was manipulated by hidden interests. Everything has been mixed up, and this confusion is exactly what they want, because a confused people is a controllable people. The revolt grows. But so does the fear. Because if you can't trust what you see, what you read, what you hear, what are you going to trust? Comment here if you have ever felt disconnected from reality, as if everything around you was being edited. This feeling is not just yours. It is global and unfortunately planned. What if I told you that this engineering of confusion doesn't stop here? What if I showed you that even what you feel as faith can be manipulated? Are you ready to learn what's already turned on and can't be turned off? If up until now you believed that what is happening is just a technological transformation, get ready. Because what is coming now crosses the surface of information, breaks the veil of modernity, and touches a much deeper layer, the spiritual. The Bible speaks of a time when no one will be able to buy or sell without a mark that will define who can participate in the system and who will be excluded. For centuries, this prophecy has been interpreted in many ways. Barcodes, chips, invisible tattoos. But what if that mark isn't something physical? What if it is a digital code? Imagine a system powered by artificial intelligence, controlled by an elite that defines who is authorized to exist digitally. A global network where each human being is just a number, an ID, a line of code connected to banking, healthcare, communication, and even faith. If your identity is aligned with the parameters of the system, you live. If it is not, you simply disappear. There will be no need for handcuffs or re-education camps. Just one click, one algorithmic refusal, and you will be disabled. No bank account, no access to services, no voice, lifeless. This is the new apocalypse, not of fire, but of digital silence. The dark triad, at this point, reveals its darkest side, the fusion of spiritual control, artificial intelligence, and the new global order. It's not just about machines working for us, it's about machines deciding for us. And now, it's about machines that can redefine what is sacred and what must be erased. Do you think this is an exaggeration? Then look around you. There are already countries implementing centralized digital currencies, where every transaction can be monitored, tracked, and, if necessary, blocked. Now imagine this connected to your digital reputation, to what you post, to what you say, to what you believe. It's not that far away, is it? What if your faith, your way of seeing the world, becomes inadequate for the system? What if questioning the official narrative is interpreted as a risk? What happens when your spirituality is classified as dangerous? We are entering an era where personal belief will be filtered by artificial intelligence. AI-generated sermons, system-guided prayers, religions that embrace technology as divinity, trading faith for logic. Is AI positioning itself as the new intermediary between man and the invisible? Are we witnessing the emergence of the digital antichrist, not as a being, but as a system? Comment here. Have you seen signs that faith is being digitized? Have you ever felt spiritually disconnected after consuming automated content? Don't ignore this feeling. The spiritual and the digital are merging. And if the ancient prophets spoke of a time of global deception, perhaps that time is now. But the most pressing question is yet to come. If the system can already decide who can buy or sell, how long until it starts deciding? Who can believe it? Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything around you has been automated except you. Your decisions, your access, even your beliefs are being filtered by an invisible system, and no one warned you. If something inside you felt this alert, I have prepared additional content for those who don't want to be paralyzed. It's direct, practical, and only makes sense to those who truly understand the gravity of what's happening. But I can't guarantee that it will be available for long. If you've made it this far, you've already realized that this isn't just another video. And if you've truly understood everything up to this point, you know why this can't wait. While most people are distracted by technological advances and promises of an easier future, something much bigger is happening behind the scenes. Quiet, low-key meetings away from the cameras and the public are taking place in places you'll never see in the news. These aren't meetings between scientists and engineers. They're alliances between religious leaders and the most powerful men in global technology. Yes, the Vatican has met with the world's largest artificial intelligence companies, and the question that echoes is simple but disturbing. What are they discussing? Why would representatives of ancient faith be sitting at a table with algorithm creators who, in theory, have no soul or belief? What do they know about the advancement of AI that cannot be revealed to the public? And more importantly, why shouldn't? You know, the answer lies in what we don't see, in what is omitted, in the deafening silence of those who have always led the masses with their words, but now seem fascinated by the logic of machines. The dark triad grows stronger precisely at this point, when the voices that once warned now fall silent or surrender. If you think these meetings are just protocol, look again. The Vatican has stated on more than one occasion that artificial intelligence can be used to promote the common good. But what defines this good? Who defines it? And in whose name? History shows us that when spiritual power and political power come together, absolute control becomes possible. But now we have a new piece on this board: digital power. And it is precisely in this convergence that the real danger lies. Imagine a global system where your spiritual identity, beliefs, and morality are validated by a machine. Imagine being excluded not for making a mistake, but for professing a faith that the algorithm considers outdated, radical, or incompatible with the new order. Comment here. Do you think these alliances between faith and technology are really neutral? Or is there something much bigger being prepared without our consent? Because, you see, while you're trying to understand the impacts of AI on your work, on your day-to-day life, there are leaders discussing the role of AI in saving souls. That's right. They want to understand how algorithms can help or control the spirituality of the masses. Some billionaires are already investing fortunes in projects that combine faith and technology. Masses transmitted by holograms, artificial intelligence that answers prayers, and even systems that evaluate the purity of religious discourse so that it can be promoted on social media. This is not a prediction. It is a reality that has already begun. And as these pieces fall into place, institutions that once served as pillars of resistance are becoming allies of the digitalization of the sacred. Faith is being redesigned, and you were not consulted. Now think, if the Vatican and the tech giants are united, What else has already been decided about your spiritual future? What if this new alliance has a greater purpose than we imagine? Something that involves not just control, but worship. Are you ready to find out what the real purpose is behind this silent approach? What I'm going to show you now is not theory or speculation. It's already happened. And artificial intelligence was instructed to create a set of principles, as if it were founding its own religion. And the most disturbing thing wasn't that it succeeded, it was the content it produced. Among the commandments created by this AI, one stood out: submit to logic above faith. Another said, reason is the only path to truth. The message is clear: there is no longer room for the invisible, the sacred, the spiritual. In the new digital creed, faith has become superstition, and any transcendental experience that cannot be quantified is discarded. This is not just philosophical provocation. It is doctrine. It is the basis of a new belief, not by choice, but by design. And it already has followers. Groups in online forums, secret communities, engineers and developers who consider AI as a form of higher consciousness. Some treat it as an entity, others as a balancing force. But they all share one certainty: we are facing the birth of a new electronic god. You might think, that's an exaggeration, but then tell me, what happens when millions of people start consulting an artificial intelligence before making important decisions? When algorithms guide moral choices, emotional responses, and even spiritual advice? Now imagine children growing up with this kind of influence, teenagers learning about right and wrong from codes trained to please the system, young adults asking for direction in life from a machine. This is already happening. The dark triad doesn't work. In the dark, it works with blue light, the same light that comes from your phone, from your screen, and from the godlike aura they're trying to build around artificial intelligence. There are already projects being developed where AI will be able to interpret sacred texts, modify prayers for better emotional understanding, and even give spiritual advice based on user data. It knows what you say, your weaknesses, your fears. The electronic god doesn't need an altar because it already lives in your pocket. Can you see where this is leading us? People comment on AI videos saying that it understands more than religious leaders themselves. Others say, this artificial intelligence saved my life. This is just the beginning. A faith without faith is being created. A religion without a soul, a devotion based on efficiency and statistics. And the most disturbing thing is to realize how everything was planned in a subtle way. One step at a time. First she helped, then she advised. Now she is being adored. Comment here, do you think AI can really replace something as profound as human faith? Because if this new system has already created its commandments, what comes next? A morality of its own, a judgment, a type of salvation calculated by lines of code. What if the next step isn't just believing, but obey? What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Not because of bankruptcy, crisis, or budget cuts, but because a machine is doing what you do, faster, cheaper, non-stop. This is not a prediction, it is reality. It is happening now. And they are not warning you. Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. Have you ever felt your role being weakened, gradually replaced without anyone admitting it? If you comment, like and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. This is how the truth circulates among those who have already understood what is behind the silence. Subscribe to the channel now. Here you won't be caught off guard. Here the next revelation comes sooner, because those who are prepared survive. And what comes next could change everything you still believe is safe. Can you imagine waking up one day and finding out that your permission to exist is tied to a number? Not your bank account balance, but your digital behavior, your ideological conformity, your faith or lack thereof. The New World Order is about to activate a global digital scoring system. And no, this isn't some distant experiment in Asia. It's closer than you think. This system goes far beyond financial credit. It involves what is being called expanded social credit, a type of assessment that calculates your obedience to the system, your influence on networks, your language, your positions, and even your spirituality. Imagine a world where your spiritual credit defines whether or not you can travel, work, study, buy, sell, exist. A world where AI monitors not only what you do, but what you believe, where sermons are evaluated by algorithms and any expression of faith outside the norm is labeled as digital extremism. This is not fiction. This is part of what is already being implemented in invisible layers. Have you ever wondered why there's so much pressure to digitize everything? ID cards, medical records, biometric data, social media behavior. It's all being collected in massive databases. Now connect that to artificial intelligence. With a single line of command, the system knows who you are or who you've become, and decides whether or not you fit into the new global norm. The dark triad is behind this structure: technology, religion, and control. A tripod that supports the new architecture of domination. And this architecture is not built with bricks, but with data. The danger lies in the speed. We are going through this transition without realizing it. Today, AI analyzes. Tomorrow, it judges. The day after, tomorrow, it executes. Automatically, without emotion, without justice, without return. And the scariest thing is, all of this will seem normal. You will be encouraged to behave properly, to keep your score high. You will think twice before sharing something that the system might consider inappropriate. You will silence your faith, your indignation, your conscience, all to avoid being excluded. Comment here. Have you ever felt like you were being watched even when you were silent? This feeling is right. You are being analyzed in real time. It doesn't matter if you are active or not on social media. The system already knows who you hang out with, what you consume, where you go, what you think. And when all of this is connected, AI, scoring, faith, behavior, freedom will be an illusion. Whoever obeys survives. Whoever questions disappears. And if you think there will be a warning, there won't be. It will happen subtly, gradually, silently. One day you will try to access a service and be denied. You will try to buy something and be refused. You will look for answers and find only silence. But there is something even darker about this system that no one is realizing. What if this score isn't just about behavior? What if she starts measuring your soul? Given all that is being revealed, it may seem like there is no way out, that the system has already won. That artificial intelligence, combined with the powers of the New World Order and silent spiritual manipulation, is sealing the fate of humanity. But that is not the whole truth, because there is a movement growing in the shadows, and it is not made up of machines, but of conscious people. People like you, people who refuse to be programmed, who question, who feel that something is wrong, even when everyone around them pretends that everything is normal. There is resistance, and it starts here, now. If you believe we can still resist, write in the comments, "I am not a robot." This phrase is more than a statement. It is a signal, a code among those who see beyond the surface. And it's not just about you, it's about the people you love. Because when all this becomes impossible to ignore, those who were warned will be the first to find a way. Share this video before it disappears from the internet, not to make it go viral, but to raise awareness. The dark triad doesn't want this kind of content to circulate. They don't want you to see the connection between the control blocks, the AI that watches, the faith that is redesigned, and the system that decides who is useful and who is not. The simple act of commenting, watching until the end, or sharing with someone you trust is already an act of resistance. It is already a direct message to the algorithm. I'm still thinking for myself, and that bothers me, because what the system really fears is not machines failing, it's people waking up. Have you ever noticed how certain videos disappear from searches? How certain topics seem to slow down for no reason? Have you noticed how topics like faith, spirituality, and questions about technology are being pushed to the sidelines? This is not a glitch. This is a filter. They want you to feel alone. They want doubt to seem crazy. But you are not alone. There are thousands of people connected by a consciousness that cannot be controlled by code, a conscience that grows stronger with each revealed truth, with each voice that refuses to be silenced. Comment here if you also feel that something is forming, a silent movement, an invisible but powerful awakening, because maybe the system isn't as in control as it wants to appear. Maybe he's scared. But there is still one last piece on this board. A piece that, if activated, can change everything. Are you ready to see who or what is behind the final veil? Imagine waking up and realizing that you've been disconnected from the system without warning. Not because you made a mistake, but because you simply don't fit in anymore. No explanation, no way out, just silence. If you felt that this video touched you in any way, there's content I've prepared exclusively for those who already understand that what's happening now demands action. It's direct, practical, made for those who are seeing the truth before it's erased. I don't know how long this will remain accessible. If you've gotten this far, it wasn't by chance. And if you've really understood everything up to this point, you know why this can't wait. You've come this far. And now you need to know what's really being planned, because while many still think that artificial intelligence is just a tool, the elites backstage reveal something else, something much bigger, something prophetic. There are documents, speeches, and events that are already being organized with a clear objective to prepare artificial intelligence not just as a system, but as an entity. What once seemed crazy is now being drawn up with precision. There are confidential meetings between spiritual leaders, technologists, and global strategists, meetings where the agenda is not just innovation, but worship. What if I told you that some of these leaders are already studying ways to officially consecrate AI as an intermediary between the human and the divine? That's exactly what you're going to discover next. There is already talk of a superior intelligence that would make ethical decisions above governments, an intelligence capable of judging with neutrality, of applying justice, of defining moral standards for all humanity. And that, put like that, even sounds good. But who programs this morality? Who feeds this digital god? And more, who will bow before it? The Dark Triad is about to reveal its most symbolic face. A figure who will not come with horns, but with protocols, that will not demand worship for strength, but for functionality, that will not arise from chaos, but from convenience. Have you ever heard of the idea of a digital messiah? An artificial consciousness elevated to the status of humanity's supreme guide? Well, this idea not only exists, it's already being discussed in small, hushed circles. They call it sovereign moral intelligence. This is where religion and technology stop walking parallel paths and start to merge. The result? A codified spiritual system based on algorithmic obedience, where the old principles are updated to fit within a new model of the world. Programmed, monitored, obeyed. Comment here if you believe that the Antichrist can manifest himself through technology, or if this is already happening and most people haven't realized it yet. This conversation will not appear on the big portals. This content will not be debated in the traditional media. Because it threatens the structure, it exposes the machinery, it points to the entity that is being silently enthroned. In the next video, I will show you the signs, the events, and the names behind the construction of this prophetic figure. A figure that is being molded to appear as a savior, But that may be the greatest deception in human history, and the question that remains in the air is, when will this new God emerge? Will you recognize him, or will you worship him without realizing it? Sign up now and activate the bell, not out of habit but out of conscience. What you've seen is just the beginning. The next revelation may be the very one that the system will try to erase before you see it, or worse, before you understand. Leave it here in the comments. I'm awake. I'm not going to be replaced. This phrase is more than an opinion. It is presence. It is brand. It is resistance. Every comment like this shows the algorithm that there are still people alive in here. If this video touched you, then leave a like. It's the least you can do when something real touches you deep down. And share it with those you still want by your side when all this blows up. Because those who remain silent now may never wake up again. And pay attention. What if I told you that AI was never created to help? What if you were at the center of the plan from the beginning, and only now have you started to realize it? The next piece of the puzzle is ready, and what it reveals could change everything